Hello and welcome to the pre-season testing review show. I'm Saunders CB.
And I'm Rendell.
And this is your chance to catch up with everything that went down here in Valencia at the pre-season test ahead of the start of season 10.
We'll be giving you a recap of all of the sessions and who's looking pacey ahead of the beginning of the season. But first, before we do any of that, let's tell you a little bit about what testing is and why it's important. Because obviously, from your perspective, you'll see plenty of media interviews, filming. We do a lot of catching up with each other about what we did with our summers, but there's some really important business going on out on track. There's software updates, rookies getting their first chance, even trying these cars. But Saunders, there's something a little bit different about Formula E testing compared to anyone else. What is that?
I mean, there are quite a few unique things. I think testing is you've got to be a little bit careful because there's only so much that's representative to what will be the upcoming season. But having said that, this is the first chance where everybody starts to see how they line up against each other. And the crucial difference between this season and, for example, last season is that there are no obvious big hardware changes. This time last year, we were looking at a seismic change between Gen 2 and Gen 3, a complete reset on the style of driving that it takes to succeed in Formula E. Whereas this time it's more about small changes within data and the control systems. Still very important and still kind of play a role in so many factors of Formula E racing, from energy management, from regen braking, grip, traction, general speed throughout a lap. You know, the software plays a huge role, and that's where the off-season work comes into play here. Have they built a car, or are they testing a car that is not just good at one lap pace, it's going to do well in qualifying, but have they built a car that is going to be efficient and good at energy management during the race?
I'm sure it's not long until we find out. But before that, let's talk driver pairings, because there's been some big changes in the off-season, Saunders.
Yeah, to say the least. I would say this has been the silliest of silly seasons. Because
I love it.
Yeah, actually thinking about it, there are only 3 teams on the paddock that
crazy.
have the same lineup.
So crazy.
You've got ERT, formerly known as Neo, you've got DS Penske, and you've got Tag Heuer Porsche. So the likes of Da Costa Verline, Verne, Van Dorn, Tictum, Seta Camera, all exactly where they were last season.
Okay.
So other than that, you know, everything else is different in some way, shape or form.
Give me the big headlines.
The big ones for me, I think obviously Nick de Vries returning to Formula E, what he called home after a little spell in Formula 1. Former champ, of course, now racing for Mahindra Racing. And I think probably the biggest headline, the best business of the off-season, might have to be Nick Cassidy to Jaguar. That is a very strong pairing.
Well, we've also got to talk about Jehan Daruvala, our only rookie of the season, and then Sam Bird looking really positive in Papaya this week.
And good.
Yeah, looking strong. He's moved from Jaguar TCS Racing to Neon McLaren, and I think it's nice to see a smile back on his face. And of course, we cannot forget Oliver Rowland returning to his old team at Nissan. Plenty of things to keeping an eye out for. And if you want to know more about all of our driver changes for this season, you can see that on the Formula E YouTube channel. We've got a full video explaining everything. But before you go and watch that, hear from some of our drivers about how they've been getting on this week.
Yeah, we had our best season so far in Formula E, and obviously leading for quite a long time the championship, or both championships actually, the drivers and teams championship. We had high targets and high ambitions, and yeah, just I think in the end we missed a couple of good points in the last couple of races, and yeah, that compromised our championship, but nevertheless it was a strong season. We had 3 wins, and yeah, looking forward to this year. I think we have a strong package, and we try to do the same, if not better.
So far, I feel like I've settled in nicely. I'm working with an engineer that I've worked with before in Stephen Lane. Everybody at the team has been incredible since I joined, really accommodating. I feel like I've slotted in seamlessly. Jake is awesome, really professional, very quick, works extremely hard. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting the season going.
Well, it's clear from last season that we need to make a step forward, and I think we've got a lot of plans in place for that. A lot of different things we're trying out here in Valencia as well, and yeah, hopefully we get to Mexico with a little bit more competitive package. I feel like if we make that little small step towards the front, we'll be in better shape, and we should hopefully be able to fight it out at the front a little bit more.
It was an incredible season. There wasn't really too many lows. There was a lot more highs. So overall, a fantastic season. You know, everyone inside the team deserved it. Yeah, but we're already pushing hard for season 10. We want to try and replicate what we did. But yeah, overall, looking back at it, it was a fantastic season for everyone.
It's all positive stuff. I came here for a reason, and I'm quite excited what's ahead.
Always good to hear from the drivers, but now it's time to get stuck into the track action and see how it all played out here in Valencia. The drivers and cars for Season 10 hit the track for the first time together on Tuesday morning, and it didn't take long before last season's top testing times were being topped. Some of the teams opted to run their rookie drivers for the first session of the week. Taylor Bernard found himself in the top 10 timings towards the end of the session in the McLaren, and Robert Schwartzman was second quickest of the non-permanent rookies with the 17th quickest time, despite car troubles for DS Penske. At the end of the first session, it was Mitch Evans, quickest in the Jaguar with a 1:24.47. Da Costa just over a tenth behind in the Tag Heuer Porsche, and Sebastian Buemi in the Envision barely 0.02 of a second behind, as less than a second separated the top 15 drivers. The second session of the week started a few days later than intended after an incident in one of the garages. But once the green light was given to continue testing, at the end of an extended session on Wednesday afternoon, Mitch Evans put in another impressive time to top the timings in 2 consecutive sessions, with a 1:24.79. This was followed by Antonio Felix da Costa. Despite only taking part in the final hour of the 4.5-hour session, this was due to rookie Gabriel Yilkova going out beforehand in the Tag Heuer Porsche. Da Costa finished just 0.02 of a second behind Mitch Evans. Eduardo Mortara for Mahindra closed out the top 3 just under a tenth of a second behind Da Costa. A remarkable effort by the Mahindra team against the challenges they faced to get a car out on track. Robin Freins and Pascal Wehrlein closed out the top 5 in the session, Freins seemingly adapting well to his return to the Envision Racing team, this time in a team's championship winning car, as barely half a second split the top 19 drivers. A few other worthy mentions: both Jaguars, Porsches and Maseratis finished the session in the top 10 of the timings. Good running for rookie and F2 race winner Jihan Daruvula. Oliver Rowland also reminded us of the pace he can produce despite a few months out of Formula E and the last 7 races of last season. The final day of testing took the form of a full 10-hour session in order to make up for the lost time earlier in the week. The day started with a 27-lap race simulation, giving teams and drivers the ability to test a full race program, including things like attack mode activations, fast charge simulations, and full course yellows and safety cars. Robin Freins led at the checkered flag, having passed Da Costa in the final few laps. Mitch Evans taking advantage of that move and also passing the Porsche driver. The session finished with Freins in P1, Evans P2, and Da Costa in P3. After that, regular testing resumed, and after a lot of changes at the top of the timings, it was new Jaguar driver Nick Cassidy with the fastest lap, a 1:24.61, completing a clean sweep of fastest times in all-time sessions for the Jaguar TCS racing team. 0.04 of a second behind Cassidy was Maximilian Günther in the Maserati, adding to his long list of fast laps in Valencia over multiple seasons. Mitch Evans replicated the impressive pace he'd shown all week to complete the top 3 on the final day, less than a tenth behind his new teammate. With only one Mahindra car able to go out on track, Eduardo Mortara sat out of testing on the final day, allowing for his new teammate Nick De Vries to get some track time with the new team under his belt. Reigning champion Jake Dennis finished the week 9th quickest, with new teammate Norman Nato 6th quickest. Andretti, the only other team alongside the Jaguars to have both cars with top 10 quickest times. Here's how things looked in the overall times at the end of Season 10 pre-season testing. One lap pace looking as competitive as ever, as less than a second separated all 22 drivers.
So that is it from pre-season testing here in Valencia. And what a week it's been, mate. So good to be back.
Always good to be back in the Formula E world. And now we have started to see where these teams and drivers are comparing with each other, especially with one lap pace to be concerned. I would say though, as we've said a lot during this recap, it isn't necessarily that representative. There's still a lot that can change between now and Mexico, but we have started to get an idea of who is, let's say, on the pace for Season 10.
I have a really good feeling about Robin Freins back at Envision Racing. He had a tough year last year with App Cupra, kind of an uncompetitive package. However, he did pull out a really impressive pole position in Berlin, and that gives me hope that he's still quick And if he's still quick and he's gone back to Envision, and Envision's quick because they're the team's champion, the maths is mathsing that he should be pretty good this season. Definitely a dark horse.
I agree. I wouldn't even say dark horse. I'd say
Maybe it's unfair.
The guy's got wins. The guy's got podiums at Envision. Got a good relationship with Sylvain Philippe. Like you said, championship-winning car. Everything's coming up Friends. That's what I think. Potentially.
I love that.
But for me, I'm really struggling to look past that driver lineup at Jaguar.
Of course.
You know, both those Kiwi drivers were on the podium together a few times last season. They both were in contention for the championship. They've been racing each other since they were 6 years old. I think that is either a driver pairing made in heaven or hell. In one way, it could be great for Jaguar. They could be smashing the points and being up there right at the end. Or maybe they're going to be battling each other for what they both really, really want. We'll see.
Stay tuned to the Formula E social channels and the website for all of the information and updates you need between the start of now and season 10.
Yeah, there is so much more to come, so don't miss a thing. Make sure you're subscribed, you're following, you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any content, and we'll see you soon.
Season 10, it's on.